this video I'm going to look at how you can get around using lenses where you can't fit ND grad filters, like my 17mm tilt shift lens, and there's quite a few out there which have problems when you start to put filters on the front of them. I think the Canon 11-24 is another example. So what I would typically do is, if you look at this set of shots here, that is all to produce one photo. So what I would do with the tilt shift lens is HDR. So I'd take a series of 3, 1, 2, 3 at different brightnesses of the high bit, and then I would shift the lens up 1, 2, 3 of the foreground, and then I would create 2 HDRs. This is one of them. See, it's a DNG file, and this is the other one. That's a DNG file, and then I would stitch those together all in Lightroom, this, and you get this end shot here, which is a massive DNG file. And if you click on auto, you can see there's a lot of information there, so you can do your usual sort of workflow on it, a bit of clarity and vibrance, maybe add a little bit of contrast with the curves. But it does seem a lot of data and an awful lot of work just so you can get a sky which works. So what I was thinking is, rather than taking 6 photos, 2 HDRs and a final blend, why not try and take one shot of the sky which is dark and one shot of the ground which is bright. So when I got to the motorway, a mile or 2 away, I did just that. So here's the shots I'm going to show you. The low one is this, the sky was this. Let's see what the difference is. On the sky one, I did 6-second shot at f22, 17mm because it's fixed in ISO 100. So that's 6 seconds because the sky was pretty bright and dramatic. And then the low one was actually 30 seconds. And you can see the sky's quite a lot brighter on this than the other one. So you've got 2 shots differently exposed, that one and that one. What happens when you merge them? Well, without any processing whatsoever from Lightroom, just completely flatline sliders, that's what you get. Obviously there's a bit of a cropping issue going on there, but just by doing Control Shift and M to merge them into a Pano, bingo, there you go, that's what you get. I was really surprised. I expected there to be issues around this middle part here. Lightroom kind of does it. So if you've got one of those lenses, well, tilt shift lens especially, you can shift to do the lower part and then shift to do the higher part and merge them, and it's almost like you've faked having an ND grad on. So you can then have a little play around. So that's one look I went for. I mean, we can do a live one here. Let's brighten the whole thing up a little bit. Take those highlights down to keep the sky interesting. Open the shadows up a bit. I'm going to end up with the same look, aren't I? You know, take the blacks down to give it a bit of contrast, that sort of thing. If the sky's a bit on the blue side for you, you can put a grad over it and just warm it up. Darken it even if you want. You know, so there's all sorts you can do. But the main point of this tutorial isn't how you finish editing. Let's just reset that. It's the fact that if you take a slightly underexposed shot of a sky and an exposed shot of the lower part and blend them together, you will get a usable DNG file like this. So don't worry about expensive grad filter kits and things like that if you're a landscape expert. Just do some shifting with your lenses like this. Maybe if you're using a non-shift lens like a Siggy 12-24, you could tilt the whole thing down, do one in the middle and tilt the whole thing up, and just experiment with that and just see how it blends. Saves you a lot of time and an awful lot of disk space because these files are pretty big. So I hope that's a help, and I hope it saves you a bit of cash.